What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hurt Business Podcast. My name's Ferris Sherrard, and today I'm welcoming back our guest. He's fighting next weekend over at Combat Zone for the vacant featherweight strap. My friend, Mr. Tommy Pags. How we doing today?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. What's it like fighting for your first pro title?
Um, Not much different, man. It's just another fight. Just preparing like I always do. Just two extra rounds. Not much really changes with that. We've been pushing a pretty hard pace. We kind of do that when we got three rounders coming up too. So we're always doing 5-5s for sparring. It's not like we add that in just for this fight. So excited though, man. It's cool to be in that main event spot, fighting for a belt. Man, I haven't fought for a belt since I was an amateur in 2019. It was actually the Combat Zone amateur featherweight belt. So it's kind of cool to see it go full circle like that.
Mm. And how how has camp been for you? You're of course one of the main guys over at the cartel. How's camp been? How's the environment? Everybody seems scheduled.
Yeah, it's been great, man. Yeah, everyone's scheduled right now for the most part. I think this is everyone says this every camp. I feel like, but I feel like this is the best camp I've had, and I can say that like honestly and mean it. The work we've been putting in as a whole has been incredible. Everyone's showing up, giving 100% every day. We've brought in new coaches. We're at a new gym. Like I said, I'm working with a new nutritionist for this camp, perfecting athletes. They work with Rob, a couple other UFC guys. I know they work with like Terrence Crawford and stuff. So super high level stuff. It's made a huge difference in just how I feel overall, energy wise and stuff. I feel just better than ever, man. I feel like mentally, my skills, physically, like I'm just feel complete.
The new nutritionist have they changed your overall preparation in terms of your diet?
Yeah, just like more control of what I'm eating. Like she tells me exactly this many ounces of what I'm putting in my body,
Mm.
and this is what you're drinking for water. This is what we're putting in your water. Yeah, just everything, man. I'm sleeping better. Like it's crazy how much what you eat and drink affects like your performance every day and like your sleep and stuff like that. So it's pretty eye opening.
Mm.
I'm kind of at where I normally am for my weight cut, so I don't have a hard weight cut ever really. But I just feel so much more energized for this one, and I know like my recovery after the weight cut is where she's going to be huge. So
Is this something you're gonna continue using and utilizing in future camps?
oh yeah, 100%, man.
Let's go.
It's an investment, but it's an investment in yourself, and um, just from how I just feel in general, it's definitely worth it.
Mhm. Now, when people think about weight cutting, they think of not eating, they think of drinking loads of water. Has your portions been altered? Have you been eating a lot less?
Um, no, not. I mean, obviously, you do have to restrict a little bit, right? You have to cut down portions as you get closer to the fight, but
Mm.
pretty much it's like pretty simple. It's this ounce of a protein, this ounce of carbs and veggies, and that's kind of more keep it simple for me. Like there's different levels you can do with this thing. Like if you want to cook and get crazy with it, I'm fortunate to be sponsored by a meal prep company, Hard Body Meals. So they provide me with the ingredients and she tells me what from there I can have. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
like you're ordering this amount of like a steak or a chicken, whatever, this amount of like a rice and this amount of a veggie. So it's pretty simple for me. It keeps it cost effective. But yeah, it's a sorry, my dog's fucking walking by. It's it's pretty like cost effective for me. But as far as my portions go, like no, I'm not like hungry all the time. We're obviously cutting them down a little bit that we're getting closer to that weight cut time. But yeah, it's been pretty good, man.
Mm. You mentioned a second ago about the new gym. I noticed that you guys are in like a different setting. How's that been being in a different mat?
Good man. We actually got our mats from our old gym and brought them here, and
Oh,
just
okay.
addition to the extra space we have too. So we got all the wrestling mats, we got our mats plus some new ones that we ordered. So we just have a ton of space, and we needed it, man. We were growing kind of fast. We have guys coming from all over the place to come train with us now, so we needed that extra room, and we got plenty of it now. So that's huge, man. And it just feels more like a training facility than what we were in
Mm.
before. And we got high level wrestlers in there all the time coming through. It is a wrestling gym as well, Prophecy Regional Training Center. It's run by a longtime friend of mine, Zach Britson. He was one of my coaches growing up. So it's just, again, another full circle thing. It's cool to kind of be reconnected with him, and now we're both kind of chasing our own goals and different avenues here, but working together.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It is another full circle moment for you, a buddy of yours that you get to continue to work with. I have noticed new gym, new nutritionist, also more bodies, man. A lot of high level guys. How's the incorporation of just welcoming the new talent, Ben, and implementing that and fighting that every day in the gym?
It's been great, man, and I think what we're learning is the more new guys that come into our gym, we're realizing how much harder we work than these other gyms because these guys are like, holy shit, like I haven't worked this hard in a long time, or we don't do this at our gym. And just like the quality of the drilling, you know what I mean? So it's nice to see that even when guys, we've had guys like fly in and come train here. Maybe they're in town or something. They stop into a practice and they're like, well, like this is a little different. So that's kind of like refreshing to hear. It's like, all right, we can truly say it with confidence, like we are outworking these guys, and we are pushing it to places that a lot of guys aren't. So yeah, having these extra bodies, man, not only the confidence of knowing what we're doing is working, but also just having more bodies and high level guys. There's no easy round in that gym.
Mm,
Everyone you go with, it's a fight. We're safe, we're controlled, but like everyone, our mentality is like who's on offense all the time. You know what I mean? Who's scoring last? Who's scoring first? It's just everyone wants to be the guy on top. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to have their hand raised in a sense. So everyone's fighting for each position as hard as they can, and it's just awesome, man. It's you couldn't ask for more.
how important is that, having that environment in a gym in preparation for a big fight as you are, just again, a few days out?
It's good. It's like I said, we're safe, we're controlled. It doesn't get like, for the most part, no one's really getting hurt. But being able to push that high intensity while being safe like that is number one. But like I said, it's just reassuring to know like I'm going into this fight. I haven't even I mean my model this camp is like not to be really result focused and focus on the outcome. That's more of a distraction. Uh, Focus on the work, the work I'm doing each day. I'm trying to just be more present, more mindful, just living in the moment a little more is like woke and cliche as that sounds, but just like being focused on every little thing I'm doing in that moment, just the work at hand. And right now that's this podcast with you and drinking my water and getting a good night's sleep. And the morning I wake up, it's my first training session of the day. You know what I mean? That's the work right now. And then in the fight, it's just round by round. I'm on round one right now. I'm not thinking about two, three, four, or five, or the fight as a whole. It's round one starts November 18th, and I'm just focused on the work, and the result's going to take care of itself, man. So I'm ready for whatever.
Now, a big part of the fight game is the mental, and you just spent a moment there talking about it. How has mentally preparing for this one been?
It's been good, man. I think I'm in, like I said, the best place mentally I've been, not just in fighting, but in my life in a long time. Um, I had some injuries this year, and I had a lot of time to work on that. I broke my face twice. I broke my orbital in May, and then I broke my other one in June in some freak accidents. So that gave me a lot of time to sit on that mental part. Sometimes like when stuff like that happens, it takes you to a different place. You're used to what I do every day is train and be active, and all of a sudden you're told no, you can't even get your heart rate up. Because the pressure it can put on it or whatever the science
Mm,
behind that is, but you kind of start waking up thinking like, man, who am I? What am I doing here? You lose a little bit of your identity. And so I really had to hone in on that mental part of the game. And honestly, man, like I said, it's just being more mindful, being present. I think I'm pretty thoughtful for a fighter. I think that than most of these fighters. I think fighters kind of get a rep for kind of just being these meatheads going in a cage and beating the bag out of each other. But I like to think I'm pretty thoughtful as a person and put a lot of thought into what I'm doing and really break things down in ways these other guys aren't. So I just think, yeah, mentally, man, I'm on a different level than most of these guys I'm fighting. I'm I'm calculated. I'm smart with my approach. I'm a hard worker. I just do everything I possibly can to know when I go in that cage, like I left no stone unturned. I've done everything I can, and like I said, a result will take care of itself.
I will say, just being a follower of yours, just following along the journey, you definitely come across as a very thoughtful person, man. Just
I
seeing, like, the
appreciate that.
Instagram captions and just seeing
Thank you.
how much yeah, it's very, like, philosophical and, like, insightful. The things you say, the things you put out there, so that definitely comes across as a viewer. Uh, but a few weeks ago, about a month ago at this point, UFC Nashville, how was that whole experience for you? You got to travel down there with big old bro Rob. How was that?
It was good, man. I love traveling with the team. It's one of my favorite things. A part of this sport is all the traveling we get to do and just spending time together. We're like a small family. We're not this huge team, so we're pretty tight knit. And just getting to travel around the country with these guys, man, it's something I'm super grateful for because I know they don't have to do that for me and bring me along to all these places. And so I'm just grateful for it. And Nashville was a great time. Obviously, we didn't get the result we wanted, but the experience as a whole, I think we get like a little tighter as a team from that.
Mm,
We grow from those fights and stuff. And I honestly think Nashville needed to happen for us to kind of step into this new kind of like energy we have right now. In this gym, we came back. I hit up that kid Zach I was telling you about who owns that spot just for the wrestling. You know what I mean? I was like, man, we all need to wrestle more. You know what I mean? I'm a wrestler at heart, and I was like, we just should be wrestling more. Like, why not? And Rob tagged along, and it turned into us moving into that spot and
mm,
working together, and things kind of just rolled and with good energy. And yeah, man. So we took a lot from that Nashville trip. I got good work in myself down there. I got to spar with Bilal Muhammad, Aljamain Sterling, just like light rounds and stuff because I really wasn't supposed to be sparring. But
mm.
when a world champ and a top three guy in the world asks you for some work, it's hard to say no. So yeah, I got some great training in and ate some good food while I could before I really rolled into fight camp. And it was great, man. And I'm looking forward to going to Austin the week after my fight.
That's right, December 2nd, big one over there in Austin. But also a guy you didn't mention that I seen pictures with was
Yeah,
Patchy Mix.
Patchy's
That's
the
a s
man. He's kinda my way into all those little sessions, man. Patchy's
Mhm,
always kinda taking care of me whenever we're in the same area. Go out to Vegas, he's kinda the guy at Extreme that I know I can kinda lean on and, like, ask questions to or just feel safe around, you know what I mean? You go
mhm,
to a new gym, it's like sometimes these guys wanna green light you and throw you to the wolves, get you hurt. He's like that guy who's kinda, "Hey, this is who you can work with, like, this is good work here, come do this," and then he's the reason I went and got rounds with Aljamain, hit me
nice.
up saying, "Hey, we're gonna work at this time. Come get some work." So Patchy's the man. He's just a good guy and a crazy good fighter.
Mhm,
He's got a big one coming up. I'm excited for him. I know Rob spent a lot of time with him this camp, and they're both helping each other. So yeah, he's kind of like the cartel in Vegas for us.
There's a few of those guys that are, like, extended cartel members who are
Yeah.
kinda Cody Dern's another one who's, like, kind of part of the team. But Patchy, when did that relationship come about? I didn't know that was, one that was so close.
Yeah, I met Patchy when Calvin was fighting Arnold Allen. We
Mhm,
were out in Vegas and I was 3 weeks out from a fight for Combat Zone. So I was out there. I was like, I gotta be out here working too. I can't just be out here. So I was at Extreme Couture all week, and he was one of the first class I went to. He was first person to come up to me and introduce himself and drilled with me the whole class and kind of just like showed me around and just kind of got some working with him all week. And I was like, man, this guy is really cool. I didn't even know who he was. I knew who Patchy was, but I didn't know that's who I was drilling with.
mm.
You know what I mean? I knew of his name and how good he was. But then at the end of class, I was like, what's your name again, man? He's like, Patchy. I was like, oh shit, I know who you are. I was like, all right. And so yeah, he kind of showed me the ropes at Extreme Couture and just kind of stay in touch with guys like that,
Mm,
man. It's like if I'm ever in Vegas, I let him know, and it's hard to kind of schedule like that. But he happened to be in Nashville because his girlfriend Tatiana was on that card too, so we definitely linked up there, got some work, and then kind of just connected him and Rob, and now they're getting some work. So it's cool, man. It's cool to build relationships in the sport with all these different fighters. Sometimes you got to end up fighting each other and stuff, but it's cool like it's one of those sports you get in a cage with someone, fight them, and be their friend after. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool, man. Is there like a piece of it, like the coolest moment from like training with those guys over at Nashville? Is there a piece of it you train with, like you said, a world champion, top three, ranked in Bilal Muhammad, who's a friend of mine, and Patchy Mix, who's another like champion in Bellator. Is there a piece of something that sticks out most, like a memory of yours? It's like I'm gonna take that's gonna stick forever.
Um, I guess more just like how I kind of been feeling like this for a while because I've been around these guys for some time now, but just like how attainable everything is,
Mm,
and how like we're all kind of doing the same thing. It's I had a good talk with Bilal after our session and like just picked his brain on some things and just how to like train smarter, you know what I mean, with the spark. I was coming off that orbital break, and he was telling me how like he never really spars really hard. You know what I mean? They pick it up with the grappling and when they're sparring and stuff, but like he's like, you know what it's like to get hit, man. Like you know how to fight someone. Like you don't need to be brawling in the gym. Not that we ever really were. It was just kind of a fucking freak shot with a small glove. But it was just cool to hear that. Like, all right, like that's something I'm gonna keep in. We've kept that in mind all camp. We got back from that trip, and it was like the emphasis in the gym is like, hey, we're not killing each other in here. We're pushing a high pace and getting good work. But we're not trying to like hurt each other. That's kind of made clear at the beginning of every session now. But then just like hearing his mindset too. It's like, man, I do got the same mindset I think as a lot of these high level guys, and it's just what am I gonna do different on my own? It's like you can't just replicate what someone else is doing. It's like, all right, cool. I know my head's in the same place as these guys, but what do they do that works for them, and what do I do that works for me? And it's figuring that out. My mental place might not need to be the same as Bilal or Rob or Patchy. You know what I mean? I'm just a different person. I need to take my head somewhere else before a fight or during a fight or everyone's approach, you know what I mean? Some guys watch film, some guys don't. I'm not a big film guy. Watch a
mm,
little bit, but it's not like huge for me. So just kind of hearing what guys' systems are, you know what I mean? And maybe I find something I like, maybe I find something that doesn't work for me, but it's just cool to pick their brains like that.
mm. It's important to always listen. I think that's an emphasis there. Now, we talked about you being insightful. Is there a fight camp rewatchable fight that you like to go back to that puts you in like, all right, it's go mode, or is it like a movie that's like, all right, it's time to go after I watch this.
Um, I don't have like particulars. I don't have like a certain fight I'll go watch, but I do always go watch like Rob and Calvin's fights. I was watching Calvin and Jeremy Stevens right before I hopped
Mm,
on this call with you. I don't know, like, not it's not for me to watch and go, I'm gonna do this in my fight. You know what I mean? That's how you get yourself fucking knocked out. But it's more just like, man, like the guys I train with every day did that, and they had to go fight that guy and did that. You know what I mean? Or maybe it is sometimes like, how's Rob throwing his jab in this fight? You know what I mean? I watched his Sergio Pettis fight a lot. He lit him up with his jab, and it's like,
mm,
what was he doing with his jab, with his feet? You know what I mean? How's he changing it up? How's he making it land so much? You know what I mean? It can't just be the same jab over and over again. He's got to be doing something, whether it's the tempo, bringing his feet. So little things like that. I'm always been a big Max Holloway fan. I watch a ton of Max. That's like I'll be in the locker room before I walk out watching Max Holloway fights and be like, damn, I'm about to go do that to someone. You know what I mean? I just love his style. It puts the volume on guys. He's long and lanky. Sandhagen too. I watched a ton of him. Um, Rob actually had me watching him like years ago, just because as someone who's long and lanky, like watch how this guy moves. I'm always switching my stances and stuff like that too. So it's kind of a good style for me to watch. But I don't like have like I'm going to watch this exact fight or this exact thing before to set the mood. I kind of just take myself there when I need to. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those guys who gets all fired up before I fight. I'm not on fight week like all hyped up. It's just like I said, being present, living in the moment, just taking each day as it comes, and the fight's gonna happen anyway. So I try not to like overthink it or think about it too much. Just kind of enjoy my week and on fight night, you know what I mean? I kind of like to stay calm, collected. I'm not out back getting all fired up. I'm just having fun. You know what I mean? That hour before you fight is nuts. I think that's the hardest part about this sport is that 1 hour out back before you fight, and you're sitting there kinda, like, feeling all these different emotions. You're scared, you're excited. It's like you have no control almost, you know what I mean? You have no control over that next hour until you're in that cage, and it's just kinda riding it out. And that's kind of something I'm just learning how to deal with as I do this more and more. And I kind of got it down now, I think, where I can get myself in the place I need to be before I walk out there. That's, I think, is definitely like the hardest part of this whole thing is that 1 hour before.
Now, very few people have experienced that 1 hour before, and I'm sure there's so many conversations going on in your head,
Yeah.
little voice there telling you like, "Do I really wanna go out there?"
Yeah. I guess for me, with my experiences, I've never had like I know some guys, it's like, well, what if I get knocked out? What if I get hurt? Um, those aren't so much like the voices in my head. That's not like a fear of mine. I've been hurt. You know what I mean? I'm not. That's not like a worry. It's more. I used to put a ton of pressure on myself. Like I said, I've gotten better at this, but being very outcome driven, I was always so concerned with an
Mhm,
outcome, and I'm just competitive by nature. I want to be the best. I want to win, and it's just the thought of that. Like, what if I go out there and don't win? You know what I mean? Well, fuck it. If you think like that, like it's gonna be that much harder. So now I just kind of tell myself like, hey, like you can give into that voice or you can just accept it, and just ride it out. I'm either gonna let myself lose or I'm gonna make myself win. You know what I mean? And I think that decision's pretty clear on which one I'm gonna choose. So I'm gonna go in there and make myself win.
mhm,
And I'm kind of just been like reminding myself up back, like, "No, you're supposed to feel this. What you're doing is scary. It's a natural thing to fear, feel that kind of like fear or angst before you fight. Everyone does. Anyone who tells you they don't is lying, or they're just kind of insane. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of like, no, I'm supposed to feel this way. You know what I mean? But just reminding myself, like, it's okay. Don't try and mask it. I used to try and maybe like kind of like hide it and like I don't know, like block those thoughts out, but now I'm just kind of like accepting it. It's just how I'm gonna feel, reel it in, you're good. This is what we do every day in the gym. I know once I'm in there, I'm gonna feel great. Like as soon as we get going, it's like all of that just turns off. It's crazy, man. Like that first exchange happens, and it's like you lose thought of anything else and just awareness of anything else. The crowd, all that's like you don't. It just goes
mhm,
away. It's like that first little minute is kind of weird. That first like you guys are just kind of feeling each other out, and you can like hear each other breathing. You can hear each other's footsteps. Um, but that's kind of like I like to get things going. If you watch my fights, I kind of just get right to it. I don't like all that idle time. You know what I mean? It's like it's too much of that in MMA. I think I like to go out there and just get a little exchange going, even if I don't land, just get shit going. And that yeah, so that all kind of helps me out.
Now, unfortunately, I know it's getting cold over in New England. You're not able to get outside and ride in the bike. So what do you do in the during the cold season with it? Do you just throw it in the garage and let it, or are you building, you're actively working on it during the cold time?
Yeah, I just put mine away for the
Mm,
winter. This past weekend. I mean, last winter, yeah, I spent all winter and spring building a bike. I don't have any plans yet for anything, maybe little things on my bike now. Um, but man, all my focus is on this right now and putting in the work each day for November 18th, and then I got a week, not even a full week. I leave for Austin the day after Thanksgiving, and then I'm there until the second or the third, and I'm flying to Grand Cayman with my fiance and her family for a little
mm.
vacation, Grand Cayman Island, and then uh,
Oh, okay.
and then I'm back here, and it's back to work, and maybe we'll see what winter projects I come up with in between now and then. But
Mm.
yeah, that's how much I got a busy couple weeks coming up, man. November is gonna be a flash for me, and then it's gonna be Christmas pretty much.
That's right. It sounds like a busy few weeks, but you set it up perfectly. You'll be able to enjoy Thanksgiving this year?
Yeah, I love fighting before. This is like my favorite time to fight. I did this exact same date last year I fought Lionel, November 18th. It was literally the Saturday before Thanksgiving. It's the best. Nothing beats that, man.
That way you get to enjoy Thanksgiving, Christmas is right there, New
Yeah,
Year's, all the holidays, it just lines up perfectly.
it's good, man.
Well, all right, Tom. I'll let you get out of here. One final message to all your supporters, everybody that's been following along ahead of your title fight for Combat Zone November 18th over in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Yeah, appreciate everyone that's been supporting me. Man, I'm lucky enough to have kind of the same group that supported me when I first got into this thing as an amateur, still tagging along now and always riding with me. My sponsors have most of them have stayed on board, and I've added new ones. My family's always been 100% supportive. My mom and dad, my fiance, her parents. Like I'm lucky, man. I'm lucky, and all the stars are kind of aligned for me to go chase this thing and do what I need to do to be successful. So now it's just on me to go do it. So that's what I'm gonna do November 18th. And if you're coming, I'll see you there. If not, buy that pay-per-view, show some love, and enjoy the show.
I'm sure they got the system. Use promo code Pagliarulo.
Yeah,
Throw
that
that
long
in.
last name, man. Just look up my Instagram and my last name's on there. Just put that in the coupon code or whatever however they have it set up, and that's how I get my commission.
Yeah, please do. Don't forget to punch it, Tom. I really appreciate the time, brother. A few days out from the fight, man. Wishing you
Of
all the
course.
best, and I'm hoping to be there, and I hope to see you on the night.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the support.